Call special call meeting, General Operations Committee to order. Don, can you open us up for water?
Yeah, I prepared it too, because I figured you were gonna might ask me, because let's get that real quick. I'm sorry. There we go. Come on. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for the opportunity to serve our community. As we begin this meeting, give us wisdom, patience, and understanding. Help us to listen to one another, consider the needs of those we represent, and make decisions with fairness, integrity, and good judgment. May our discussions be productive and our actions serve the best interests of our community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Approval of agenda.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
motion. Wait a minute. How about our,
Oh, minute taker.
she's not here yet. She went to get some more copies.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
I thought she sat back here.
We can wait. You got a good one?
I got some, but y'all wouldn't laugh at it.
County commissioner walks into the
With a dog with 3 legs and a half a
Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate the full room
We should be able to go ahead with this with
with the recording. Think she can catch up?
Yeah, because we're going to
It's your
be.
call. It's your call.
Is her recorder on the Jennifer?
Well, I'll bet she's not. Her phone is. It may be recording. Is it recording?
No.
Yeah, we could probably turn those off if you want to.
They probably got the copy or message. Thank you. You want?
Pass these around.
Yeah, I'll pass that.
What is it? What is that?
Thank you.
Oops, sorry.
Got it. Okay, so we got the quit claim, release, and the restricted funds, so, okay.
Ben, are these the ones that I asked to be present?
What's that name?
Are these the ones that I asked to be present for my email?
I assume it is. That's what was laying here when I walked in the door.
Yeah, because I think the other ones are in the packet.
Yeah, it's the same thing I have in, I'm printing mine off before.
So,
There should be a resolution attached also.
I don't,
Maybe that's what she's printing.
Might be what she.
oh, okay.
I think she's making more copies of what we've had here.
So, do we need to amend the agenda to substitute these for what's in here?
No, because it was publicly noticed. It's going to have to
One thing we
be.
need to do, we need to hold on when she gets here so she can take the minutes.
Okay.
But how do you do the continuation online? Should they send you a communication?
Yeah, where'd you get it?
It's right there.
That's the resolutions that support each of these. There should be 2 resolutions, one for the quit claim and one for the lease.
It's a resolution.
Okay. So
Where were
these
they
are,
at?
Every time it's right.
I'm all clear. I don't know.
Pair them together with the titles so they make sense. The resolution for the,
This is the lease, the one that you just gave.
yeah, so make sure it goes to the lease agreement. They go together. Do you have another one, Don?
Yeah, they, somebody.
Mary,
It's all good.
this is the lease.
There you go.
That goes.
Does anybody
resolution
in
that
the
goes
audience
with the
need a
lease.
copy? I know you did. You did ask for one, didn't you?
That, yeah.
So do we have the quitclaim, resolution?
Yeah, we should have a quick claim resolution. No, the
Oh, the
resolution.
resolution.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
Where do you have it?
No, I'm sorry, this is the quitclaim
We found a
itself.
resolution over there on the table.
Right over here.
Oh, right here on the table. There should be one more resolution for the quick claim deed. This one's for the lease. Oh,
Comes from the office.
Eric, do you know if there's another resolution?
Let's go back into what we're doing now, y'all. Let's not stray off.
We gotta make sure we have all the documents. I've got a copy of my own, and you have it, Ben.
I'll need a
but
copy if there's something else.
it was on the email, the resolution for the, quit claim deed.
Quitclaim.
We got the resolution for the lease, but we don't have the one for the quit claim deed.
All right,
There was 5 attachments on
moving right along. Recognition of the public is next on the agenda.
that. We didn't approve the agenda. We almost
Thought we
did. We almost did.
That's right.
We got
almost
close.
did Because you weren't here.
We got really
All right, we have a
close.
motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Smith. Motion by Mr. Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, no old business, new business. Let's go to recognition of public. Laura Baggett.
Laura Baker, 424 AB Wade Road. I'm gonna keep this real short. I wanted to thank the committee for getting together tonight on an off night, and thank the folks who ran the town hall meeting last week. Unfortunately, we couldn't be here, but we did watch the video. It was very impressive. The work that's been done, a lot of work's been done by a lot of people, and I appreciate the options that are before you today. The good news is, I'm not gonna dwell on where we've been, how long it's been. Nobody needs me to go over all that. If other people wanna do it, fine, but the good news is tonight, you all have a chance to be real heroes in getting this project going. You have the power tonight to fix this whole situation that's been going on. This is a matter of trust and public perception now, and there's a lot of eyes on you. Everybody here has got a big circle of people to communicate this to. And that's not, I don't mean that in any kind of negative way, I actually mean it positive. I'm trying to project positivity towards y'all to get this done the right way. I also wanted to state my support for the quitclaim deed option. I just want to make that clear that I think that the lease is not how we've done other things. I think it will create a lot of problems for the nonprofit later on. I don't think that's how the bridal house was run, for example, and the bridal house has done a great job through a similar situation that you're going to be looking at tonight. And they've proven that the private sector is more than capable of this kind of program, and in fact, they excel at it. And they're better than government is, and will ever hope to be in a situation like this. Back to the Winchester property for the, that you all gave to a nonprofit then. I just wanted to bring up that the issue of a lease was discussed heavily during your county commission meeting, and that was ixnayed because there might not be grant money available if they don't own the property, and there also wouldn't be the ability for them to borrow money if need be. So just reiterate that, and thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jim Ladden.
Jim Latimer, 1578 Latimer Lane, Hendersonville, Tennessee. thank you for letting us come here tonight and speak with y'all about this. It has been dragging on for a while. We hope we can get a settlement on it. Again, acknowledge Mr. Brown, who made all this possible. Would not be here tonight speaking about this if he had not made allowances in his will to make this property available. I would urge us to go ahead and get something done with this house. It is historic property. It has ties to the Revolution, has ties to the Tennessee frontier. Blood's been shed for that property. A lot of history there. We don't have too many old houses of that era left in Tennessee, and Sumner County has not been good about preserving their history. And that can be something that kids from the future generation can come by and look at it and see how people lived and have a touchstone to their history of their community. The Colonel bought that property in 1790. They stayed there. Some of it just recently passed out of the family within the last year. That was the last remnants of the property, but they held it for a long time. He's buried on over on Mr. Doris's property on Brinkley Branch Road. So that's where the graves are at of the Colonel and his wife. So there's a lot of history linked to that property. I encourage you to please help us get this settled and get this property preserved.
Thank you, sir. Mike McClard.
Mike McClark, 102 Tioga Trail. I can't say anything any better than what the two previous speakers, but I just implore you to push this through. Let's get this done. Let's get this taken care of and honor this man's last wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Kevin Baker, 424 AB Wake Road. It's good to see so many old friends. I was worried that this might be heading towards a 5-year reunion. I'm hoping that tonight we can get this thing over the finish line. I too support the quitclaim deed. In fact, I support the quitclaim deed where we specifically talk about the Latimer House, because although it is the Brown Park, it's the Latimer House, and that ties back. That'll be less confusing for kids going there to see the tie to the hero from the Revolutionary War. So I throw my support behind that. Let's get this thing moving and get this thing done.
Thank you, sir. Jenny Mansfield.
Jenny Mansfield, 1 the Lane, Hendersonville, Tennessee. So the insistence of having a special Gen Ops meeting tonight by we the people especially is an accelerated reaction to a problematic culture, a culture created by the lack of transparency, lack of accountability, willful ignorance, stalling tactics, and political game playing incompatible with our constituents' desires. This type culture is deeply insulting to us, and we are concerned with the safety of the Latimer House at the William and Martha Brown Park. And we are truly, truly concerned with the lack of appreciation for this 1700s Revolutionary era log house, a generational living testament of Sumner County's history. Also, because of this lackadaisical approach to culture, we have become painfully aware there was really never any intention of ever saving the Latimer Brown house. The success of this house's restoration has been jeopardized as evidenced by a lack of enthusiasm, negligence, and delinquency over the last 9.5 years. As evidenced by the lack of a driveway, the lack of an apron, the lack of a culvert on Wolfpack Way to the house when Wolfpack Way was made, and further evidenced by one commissioner's comment who is in favor of the $1.2 million park, which excludes the house, who said, and I quote, "The house was in better condition than we initially thought, so it hasn't deteriorated enough to remove it. And if it had been put on the historic registry, we would have had more reason to restore it." Again, your intention was to let the house rot. This entire 9.5-year escapade is deeply offensive and insulting to constituents. Because we are painfully aware there was never any intention to save the house going forward, we the people deserve full transparency and accountability. We demanded significant effort be put forth to save Sumner County's historical and cultural significant log house. Because of your continued negligence and delinquency, we are respectfully requesting a vote to quit claim deed the log house to the Friends of the Latimer House along with the money and the interest, so it can be restored by those who appreciate the house and appreciate the existence of a 1700s Revolutionary era log house at the William and Martha Brown Park on 212 Hunters Lane.
Thank you, Mike.
Stephen King.
Stephen King, 123 Woodland Circle, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, 37072. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm also a Sumner County board member for District 5, and this property actually sits in my district geographically. And I served on the Latimer House Ad Hoc Committee along with another school board member, Ms. Kathy Stewart, who's here tonight. She represents District 9. My constituents in District 5 have expressed unilateral support for the restoration of the Latimer home as directed in the will of Mr. Brown. And I believe a majority of Sumner County citizens also share the opinion of my constituents. Tonight I speak in support of the proposed quitclaim deed to the Friends of the Latimer House nonprofit. I believe this is the best path forward and the most practical. I do want to say tonight that this vote is about far more than a legal instrument or tool. It's about whether Sumner County will finally take a clear step toward preserving one of our most important historic landmarks. And you know, we are incredibly fortunate because on the ad hoc committee, when we met with the architects, they evaluated the Latimer House and they told us that they were astonished to see how remarkable that it was to find this log structure in such a sound condition. It's in great shape, especially after almost 10 years of little to no action, and that is almost unheard of. And so that's an opportunity that we should not take lightly. I think it's a great report on that. And like some folks said, this home is a tangible connection to our county's earliest history, connecting the Sumner County directly to the American Revolution, tied to the family of a Revolutionary War patriot and veteran. It reminds us that the American story runs right through Sumner County. Imagine students walking on campus, the Liberty Creek campus, and seeing that history preserved, not erased. And you know, history comes alive when you can experience it firsthand. So tonight is not simply about approving a document, it's about deciding whether we will preserve something that cannot be replaced. Because guys, if that thing is gone, it's gone, that's it. And you know, if we don't save it, people won't remember it. And they will forget about it, and that would be a shame. You know, there are a lot of folks out there, we all know, that want to condemn American history. They want to just in its entirety, and they don't want to see it preserved. But we need to preserve this. And you know, I said in the town hall last week, I said I made this comment, quote, I said, just imagine the optics if that house is torn down. Imagine the optics of that. I don't think anybody wants that. I also want to speak to why I think the quitclaim deed makes the most sense. Like I said, I believe it's the cleanest and most practical tool. It allows a nonprofit whose mission is historic preservation to focus on what it does best with, you know, obviously the safeguards in place that you all have brought to the table. Now, there have been some who have said the school board needs to be more directly involved in the project, and as a board member, I'll say this, the board, we have been involved. We have not been excluded from the project. Some of us have been involved. Myself and Ms. Stewart both served on the Latimer House Ad Hoc Committee, and you know, those meetings were open to the public. They were open to all board members, including the superintendent, to come. For years, the Gen Ops has been meeting on this point. And to my knowledge, Ms. Stewart and I were the only ones who did attend. But, you know, really, in reality, the responsibility described in Mr. Brown's estate documents, in his will, the responsibility for this project really rests with the county. And tonight's action allows the county to carry that out. From a practical standpoint, you know, the school system manages millions of square feet of educational space with infrastructure for learning as the focus.
Okay, we have a lot of our own buildings, our own things to manage, and and yes, infrastructure for learning is the focus. Historic preservation, that is a different mission. That's a different mission, and I think it's one. I'm about done. One better suited to an organization formed for that purpose. And so this lets everyone do what they do best. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
and
sir.
Please vote for the quick claim.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is no old business, new business, Brown property proposal. Open the floor.
So I'd like to make a motion to put forth this quick claim deed, the new version that was emailed to you guys. And I'm sure there's gonna be discussion on it and to explain why it's different than the one that we talked about at the town hall, but that'll be my motion.
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner Johns, second by Commissioner Smith. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I think I've read every quit claim option that's been out there over the last couple of weeks. And just so that I am not confused about it, I would appreciate if the maker could explain what the differences are.
So the reason why some changes were made to it, at its heart, it's the same thing that we talked about at the town hall, but some questions and concerns were brought up by our law director about some state statutes that he mentioned that may be problematic. So I did some research into those statutes to see where they applied and where they don't apply, and I think he agrees with me that those concerns have been put to rest. But we put in there the statutes and the reasons why they're not problematic anymore. So basically calling those out, but I hope you guys had time to read it. I sent it on purpose so that you would have time, but I don't mind reading through it quickly and calling out the sections that may be different so that nobody has a problem with it.
Sounds good to me.
What does everybody want me to do? I don't mind.
If you
I'll
need-
whiz through the parts that aren't different, and I'll stop and slow down on the parts that are if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Is that what you
I
want?
appreciate it, because they need to hear it as well.
No, I understand, and so forgive me if I do some skim talking, but it's gonna be the part I'm skimming is the same as the other part. But I tried to I'll explain this in a minute, so I'll go ahead and start with this. What do you read, the resolution part or the quit claim deed part? The resolution will actually explain the differences, if I just read that.
Okay.
Because that's encompassing of both. Whereas William Brown by last will and testament executed October 2015 and codicil number 1, March 17, left the sum of $500,000 and no cents to Sumner County, Tennessee to be kept in restricted fund for the exclusive purpose of establishment, promotion, ongoing support, and maintenance of the William and Martha Brown Park at 212 Hunters Lane, with the historic home currently situated on being permanently maintained by the county as the park centerpiece. And whereas this board by resolution 24-10-15 adopted unanimously vote that requests pursuant to TCA 58101 to be used subject to the terms of all conditions and restrictions of said will and codicil establishment of the William and Martha Brown Park. And whereas TCA 58101 provides that a gift accepted subject to conditional restrictive terms must be used by the county subject to the terms of such conditions or restrictions, and that county budgetary procedures attached to unrestricted gifts. And whereas the restricted fund is held by the Sumner County Finance Department in account, which has received $587,232.27, consisting of the bequest and accrued interest, of which $566,702.27 remains unexpended. And whereas the warranty deed of record, book page, Sumner County Register of Deeds names the Sumner County Board of Education together with Sumner County as grantees, so the historic Latimer House and the surrounding parcel are jointly owned of record, and both bodies must join in any conveyance. And whereas William Brown reserved unto himself a life estate of 0.8 acres surrounding this residence, which life estate terminated upon his death, and the parcel to be conveyed comprises the same 0.8 acre area. And whereas the access to the residence reserved in 2018 warranty deed was appurtenant to the life estate and did not survive its termination, so that parcel presently lacks recorded legal access, and a permanent easement must be granted and recorded across land jointly owned by Sumner County and Sumner County Board of Education. And whereas Wolfpack Way is not presently a county road, and whereas TCA 122501 authorizes a county to dispose of real property by private negotiation and sale where the property is significant for architectural, archaeological, artistic, cultural, or historical purposes, where the property is conveyed to a nonprofit corporation or trust in furtherance of its preservation or conservation purposes, and where a preservation or conservation agreement is placed in the deed, and the nonprofit may dispose of the property only subject to covenants promoting preservation or conservation. And whereas this board finds that the historic Latimer House constructed in the 1790s is significant for its architectural and historic associations, and that the parcel upon which it stands is significant for the same reasons. And whereas this board finds that the Friends of the Latimer House at the William and Martha Brown Park is a Tennessee nonprofit public benefit corporation, that's important, in good standing with the Tennessee Secretary of State, chartered March 14th, 2026, control number, blah, 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 whose purposes include the preservation of the historic Latimer House and the establishment, promotion, support, and maintenance of the William and Martha Brown Park, and that the conveyance authorized in this resolution is made in furtherance of those preservation purposes. And whereas this board finds that the restricted quitclaim deed approved by this resolution places a preservation agreement in the deed in the form of covenants running with the land, requiring that the property forever be used for the preservation, maintenance, and operation of the historic Latimer House as the permanent centerpiece of the park, and further provides that the grantee may sell, transfer, assign, or convey the property only with the prior written approval of this board and only subject to covenants promoting the preservation of the property, so that the requirements of TCA 122501 are satisfied. And whereas TCA 59109 authorizes the county legislative body to appropriate funds to a nonprofit charitable organization whose purpose is to benefit the general welfare of residents of the county, and TCA 59109 directs that each county legislative body shall devise guidelines directing for what purposes the appropriated money be spent. And whereas this board finds that conveying the historic Latimer House to a qualified nonprofit preservation organization at no continuing cost to the taxpayers of Sumner County is the most faithful means of carrying out the conditions of Mr. Brown attached to this gift, to his gift. That's important too. Now be it resolved by the Sumner County Board of County Commissioners meeting in regular session, date to yet be filled in, that this board hereby authorizes and approves the conveyance of the historic Latimer House and the former William Brown Life Estate parcel to the Friends of the Latimer House at the William and Martha Brown Park by restricted quitclaim deed in substantially the form attached to this resolution by private negotiation and pursuant to TCA 12251, and be it further resolved that because the property is jointly owned of record, this conveyance shall not be effective until the Sumner County Board of Education has also approved and executed the restricted quitclaim deed as a co-grantor, and the Board of Education is respectfully requested to take that action. And be it further resolved that this board hereby authorizes the grant of a permanent 50-foot easement, that's important, remember that, of ingress and egress running from Wolfpack Way to the southern property line of the conveyed parcel, appurtenant to and running with the parcel conveyed, said easement to be granted by separate instrument executed by Sumner County and joined by the Sumner County Board of Education as co-owner of the servient land, and recorded in the office of the Sumner County Register of Deeds contemporaneously with the restricted quitclaim deed. And be it further resolved that the grant of the permanent easement is not contingent, pay attention to this part, is not contingent upon the acceptance of Wolfpack Way or any other road as a county road. It being the intent of this board that the parcel shall not be conveyed without recorded legal access. And be it further resolved that this board hereby accepts Wolfpack Way into the Sumner County road system as a county road. And be it further resolved that the acceptance of Wolfpack Way as a county road shall take effect only upon the approval and execution of this restricted quitclaim deed by the Sumner County Board of Education. in the form presented with this resolution without additional amendment, deletion, or modification of any term. And that if the Board of Education does not so approve and execute the deed, the acceptance of Woolpack Way as a county road shall be of no force or effect. And be it further resolved that this board hereby approves the restricted fund administration agreement between Sumner County, Tennessee and the Friends of the Latimer House at the William and Martha Brown Park in substantially the form attached to this resolution, and appropriates and directs the transfer to the Friends of the entire unexpended balance of the restricted fund held in account blah, 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 pursuant to TCA 58101 and TCA 59109. Be it further resolved that this board hereby adopts Article 2 of the Restricted Fund Administration Agreement entitled Permitted Uses as the guideline of this county legislative body, directing for what purposes the appropriated money may be spent as required by TCA 59109, so that the transferred funds may be used only for the restoration and preservation of the historic Latimer House and for the establishment, promotion, support, and maintenance of the William and Martha Brown Park and of improvements located within the conveyed parcel. And be it further resolved that the restrictions imposed by William Brown shall survive the conveyance and the transfer, that the transferred funds shall remain permanently restricted and shall not become unrestricted assets of the Friends, and that upon default, the unexpended funds shall revert to Sumner County, and title to the property shall revert as provided in the restricted quitclaim deed. And be it further resolved that on or before March 1st of each year, the Friends shall file with the Sumner County Clerk with copies to the Sumner County Finance Department and to this board the annual accounting required by TCA 59109 and by paragraph E of the Sumner County Resolution of January 27th, 2020, and that the report shall be open for public inspection during the regular business hours of the county clerk. And be it further resolved that written notice of this transaction shall be given to the Attorney General and Reporter of the State of Tennessee. And be it further resolved that before the transfer of the fund, all outstanding architectural, engineering, and design agreements, change orders, this is important. Let me back that up. Be it further resolved that before the transfer of the fund, all outstanding architectural, engineering, and design agreements, change orders, and purchase obligations relating to the historic Latimer House shall be terminated or otherwise resolved at county expense and not from the restricted fund. And be it further resolved that the realty transfer tax due under TCA 674409 upon the recording of the restricted quitclaim deed, together with the recording fees for the deed and for the easement instrument, shall be paid by Sumner County from county general funds and not from the Brown restricted fund. And the Sumner County Finance Department is directed to pay those charges upon presentation. And be it further resolved that the parcel shall be surveyed to the boundary of the former William Brown Life Estate and the meets and bounds legal description attached to the restricted quitclaim deed as Exhibit A, and that the county mayor is authorized to execute the restricted quitclaim deed, the easement instrument, and the restricted fund administration agreement, and all documents reasonably necessary to carry out this resolution. So, if you remember what we discussed in the town hall, this covers all of that, plus it puts the state statutes on there that were questioned in the town hall, so it clears up all of that. This has been run by the law department, and they think it's solid on that. And wanted to back it up by also showing this. The reason why this was formed, it is, well, if I can find it, here it is. The heart of it is in line with what the mayor proposed in his email. And I'll read to you some excerpts out of here. This is from the mayor's proposal, and I tried to parallel that as much as possible. Keeping that purpose, this is what we got proposed a couple weeks ago. Keeping that purpose, well, I'm gonna skip the initial paragraph because it's just not important to this conversation, but it's still valid. It's still good. Keeping that purpose is the challenge to the county now works to meet. The county holds the property jointly with the Sumner County School Board, and it holds the restricted fund as a steward rather than an owner free to spend at will. direct county operation of a house and a neighborhood park is neither the county's core function nor the most faithful way to honor a gift that calls for ongoing care, promotion, and preservation. So that parallels what we're trying to do here. Then there's like 4 paragraphs that I've highlighted and one huge section on the back that all parallel what I put together in the quitclaim deed. I can read them if needed, or you can trust me on that. There's 2 changes to the mayor's proposal that I did underline. So down at the very bottom paragraph of the first page, he says, additionally, a permit of 20-foot wide easement leading to the property will be granted, providing access to the property. That access is subject to the acceptance of Wolfpack Way as a county road. So we include the acceptance of Wolfpack Way. I changed that to a 50-foot easement just because I think that's the standard for easement access for properties. And this would also provide areas to park parallel to that driveway if needed, because I don't see a parking lot area called out in that 0.8 acres. So I thought this would kill 2 birds with 1 stone just by putting a standard easement on there. Hope that's not a hanging point, because there's nothing tricky about that. I tried to stay pretty standard. The 3 safeguards, this is in the mayor's proposal, 3 safeguards that frame the arrangement. First, the lease takes effect only once the Friends of Latimer House are recognized by the state of Tennessee as a charitable organization. That's been met. We've got proof of that they've already been recognized. And then as well as recognition by the Internal Revenue Service as a 501c3 organization. That was the second stipulation he put on here. I don't like that one, and I'll tell you why. Because it takes up to 27 months. I'll pause for a second just so everyone can hear me. It takes up to 27 months to be answered by the IRS, and I don't. That's not a state law that they have to be. It's, they have to pay taxes if they don't get recognized, and they have applied for it. So to me, that shows their intent, and we'll wait and see if they get accepted or not. But waiting 27 months to me was not. It was just a higher mark to reach, and the mayor might not have known how long it took them to do that, but I think his intention was good in putting that on there. So the county is dealing with an accountable, publicly recognized steward. Second, because the property is owned jointly, the lease requires the approval of both Sumner County Commission and the Sumner County School Board. I put that in there. Neither body acts alone. Both must agree that this is the right custody for the property and the right use of the trust. Third, the transaction fully complies with all governing legal and fiscal requirements established by the state law and by county and school board policy. I tried to put as much state law in there as possible to verify that, to show that that meets those conditions too. So the heart of this is, I think, what the mayor was going after, and that's why it's drawn up the way it is. Any questions? I'll try to
I want to direct a question to our attorney. Wolfpack Way, explain to the committee how that would work without it going through. Is that something that would not have to go through the highway committee to accept that road, or?
There's already been an attempt to get that road approved, but I would assume it would need to go through highway again to get reapproved.
There's been 2 attempts, actually, when I was highway chairman, and then I think during this last new committee. And
so it does have to recycle through there.
It does, but like we've learned with anything else, you can do anything you want from the commission floor with 13 votes. So it could very well just be approved. So, I mean, somebody could amend that on the floor and send it back to highway to get that second approval. But if you saw the way that this was written, this is separate. It kept the Wolfpack Way separate from this, but it doesn't have to, and it doesn't, it's our intentions to do that. But I hope that's not a hang up in there, because I think there's probably enough votes to go ahead and get it approved from the commission floor. Seeing it go through committee twice.
Where did you get the 50-foot right of way from?
I believe that's standard easement for properties. This is what I've been told by people.
In planning commission, generally, when you have a lot, especially when they're doing flag lots, we're requiring a 50-foot access now.
But he had mentioned something about parking.
So I thought it would kill two birds with one stone, since there's not a parking lot area for if this house, when this house gets turned into a showpiece, that kids can come, buses can bring kids over, parents can bring their kids over, whatever. There's no parking over there at this time. The 50-foot easement would at least give parking along parallel to the driveway. If you put a 10-foot driveway in, you could put cars sideways on there. And if that's a killer for the whole thing, we'll look at
Just
what
ask
the
him
minimum
first.
is.
Just ask him.
No, I appreciate that, because I figured that would come up, but I'm flexible on that to where you go with something a little less, maybe park on one side of it and do a 30-foot easement or 40-foot or whatever, but I just
You gotta
figured, why
keep
not
it-
ask for the standard, which
You'll
is
have to
50.
keep it open enough for emergency vehicles to come in and out in case they have something going on there.
Yeah, it's 50 just sounded better, to kill two birds with one stone, so I didn't mean for it to be obstructive or anything.
I think probably even with 50 feet, you could get angled parking on one side and then, concerning his emergency vehicle thing, we would have to see, but 50 is the standard we use in planning commission. And so, whether we park angled on one side and then have two drive paths or park parallel on either side, we'll have to figure that out. But 50 is the standard.
If somebody gave good reason for it not to be that at the commission or at this committee or whatever, I'm flexible. I just thought that was a better first pitch idea, so that's the
Yeah,
only
20's
reason why.
really tight.
Yes,
But-
ma'am. Mr. Young.
I would like to make an amendment to
Okay.
Mr. Jones's motion. I would like to add, yes, the quitclaim deed be the first choice, but also to put forward the lease agreement as the second option. And when we go to the commission, I would ask that the chairman of this committee request that the quitclaim deed be the first item and then the lease be the second item, so that when it's presented to the commission, it's presented in that way. Because, that's how we're, that's my amendment.
Do we have a second to the amendment?
I'll second the
Do we have a
amendment.
second? Mr. Jones.
I don't mind that necessarily, but I was going to either entertain that motion next after we put this one to rest. I was just trying to keep it cleaner and have the full discussion on this and put it forward, and then talk about the other one second, just to keep it cleaner. But, because I figured questions would come with the other one too. And I didn't want to have questions about both at the same time and mix up this motion.
I think that I understand what he's saying, but the issue here is quitclaim versus lease.
Mhm.
So that is what we're talking about, which one do we want to do? So that's why I want my amendment to present as quitclaim first, lease second, and then for you to put on the agenda at the next commission meeting, the quitclaim first, and then the lease second. When we present, that's my motion. I understand we'll discuss it, but that's my motion, sir.
Mr. Sittler, you're looking at me like, I said light bulb.
I think we're front loading a position that the second one's already approved on that. I think that would need to be a tail end provision based on where the discussions go with the two, because
You can't put it
you
forward
may
in
move
motion.
both forward for the commission to decide with whatever language you want with that, but we don't know what you're moving yet to say which one should be first, so I think that needs to be on the back end.
I'll do that though. Or we can make that motion after we're done voting on this,
As
because
long
I
as
agree
you do
with,
it,
I
as long
agree
as
with,
it's up and down.
I agree with you on that. So that's all I got on the quick
Well, we're
claim
gonna have to
deed.
get rid of the amendment. And we
I
have a
withdraw.
motion and a second.
I'll withdraw.
Oh.
Just withdraw the amendment.
Okay.
All right, now back to the main motion.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Mr. Sittler, question.
Yes, sir.
The process in this going forward, you want to explain that to us?
Well, I did a little bit more research on it. I believe this committee can move it forward because of the way the rules and procedures are set up, so I don't think that's an issue now.
you're saying to the full commission without bypassing the legislative committee?
Correct.
Okay.
Mine's more of a comment. The emails that I've received, the phone calls I've taken from a lot of people out there is in favor of the quitclaim deed. I understand you want to bring both options to the floor, but I'm gonna be voting in favor of what the citizens have asked me to do, and that's the quitclaim, because it's the cleanest path forward to get this done, and it gets government out of the way and let the citizens handle this. And with the reverter clause, I'm comfortable with that, because if they renege on that, which I don't think they would, but if they were to, there's some safety nets with that Sumner County has. So we're not kind of leaving anything on the table. So if something goes wrong, they don't fulfill that. And we've got that reverter clause, which is a lot of what the citizens have asked me tonight to vote in favor of, even at the full commission. So,
Yes, sir. We've got two things going on here. We've got the quitclaim deed itself, and we've got the resolution. So the resolution, whatever you want to send up, I'll be more than glad to put that forward. As far as the deed, I've got no property description, so there needs to be some discussion on the deed itself, because I've got no description. Do you want me to rely on the the 0.8 based? I mean, there's gotta be some discussion on what that is,
Well,
because
it's
I've
gotta
got
be,
no description.
it has to be surveyed, there's a lot of things that has to take place.
I believe Commissioner Jones addressed that we would have it surveyed.
Okay.
So we're just moving the resolution. The quitclaim will have to go through this again, as long as everybody understands what's happening.
Mr. John,
Could you explain what you just said?
This
We'll have to go through
this is a separate document that
Yeah,
Jen Ops will have to go through.
No, that's what I was getting ready to do. So I was in the queue, the quitclaim is really short, and I was gonna read it, so everybody sees, it's only this half page right here. So,
But this is a standalone resolution, and I believe, based on what I've quickly seen of this, is that the resolution could move forward with the understanding that the quitclaim deed has not been executed nor authorized yet.
yes, the intent, right? The
This,
intent-
that's what this resolution would be, an attempt to solidify it with the quitclaim deed.
And then, yeah, and the quitclaim deed, it will have attached the surveying that the mayor said that he would get done to reestablish.
But technically, Gen Ops has to determine that that this body is okay with whatever that description is.
Well, I
'Cause it's gonna have
described
to
it.
define the easement. It's gonna be basically what the mayor's saying is a plat of some type, saying, all right, we are now creating this new piece of property outside of the general piece, and this is it. It'll get re-indexed, and it'll be its own freestanding piece of property, deeded however you decide to deed it.
10, 11, 12. And 13th, be it further resolved, says that the parcel shall be surveyed to the boundary of the former William Brown Life Estate, and the meets and bounds legal description attached to the restricted quitclaim deed as Exhibit A. So that will be attached when it gets resurveyed. And I know those dimensions are there because they went through the
final
survey,
plat.
the final plat for the schools to get their sewer. So that's just gonna take digging them up and reapplying them.
If that's what you're agreeing to, is the footprint of the life estate.
Yes.
I can work with that, but
Yes.
you all have to make the decision that that's what it's gonna be.
That's what I'm asking for, and that's what's in the resolution. So, and that's what the mayor was talking about too. That's why we did it that way. Okay, and then, so the quitclaim deed, the quick version here. Okay, to have and hold the same unto grantee as successors and assigns forever subject, however, to the following covenants, conditions, restrictions, and rights of reverter, all of which shall constitute covenants running with the land and shall bind upon upon grantee, all successors, and assigns. The property shall forever be used solely for the preservation, maintenance, and operation of the historic Latimer House as the permanent centerpiece of the William and Martha Brown Park, and in support of the establishment, promotion, support, and maintenance of said park, consistent with the charitable intent expressed by William Brown in his last will and testament and codicil number 1, the property shall remain open for the public use and enjoyment, subject only to reasonable rules governing hours of operation, public safety, preservation, and maintenance. The property shall not be used for commercial, residential, development, industrial
Or is
purposes.
not in there, and I wanted to make sure it is.
Which word?
Commercial or residential development.
Okay, need to add that in to make it clear.
That would be my suggestion.
Okay. Commercial or residential development, industrial purposes, private residential occupancy, any use inconsistent with the operation of the historic Latimer House as the permanent centerpiece of a public park, any purpose.
I would insert nor for that last sentence.
Nor any purpose
Yes.
in place of the semicolon, but nor.
No.
After the semicolon.
Insert nor.
Okay. Nor any purpose inconsistent with the donor's charitable intent. The historic Latimer House shall remain permanently situated upon the property. The historic Latimer House shall not be demolished, materially altered, relocated, or destroyed. And this was added in there, except as may be necessary to restore / preserve the structure. Because the way it was originally in the mayor's proposal, I think I knew his intent. We don't want to demolish it, but there may be some demolition needed to fix some things and stuff like that. So this covered both. Except what is necessary to restore, preserve the structure. Grantees shall not sell, transfer, mortgage, encumber, lease, assign, or otherwise convey any interest in the property without the prior written approval of the Sumner County Commission and any additional approvals required by law. Any such sale, transfer, assignment, or conveyance shall be made subject to covenants promoting the preservation of the property, which covenants shall run with the land and shall bind all successors and assigns as required by TCA 122501. Should grantees cease to operate the property as the historic Latimer House at the William and Martha Brown Park, fail to preserve the historic Latimer House, abandon the property, cease to be a Tennessee nonprofit corporation in good standing with the Tennessee Secretary of State, the status being the basis on which this conveyance is authorized under TCA 122501, dissolve or materially violate the restrictions contained herein, then grantor shall have the immediate right to declare this conveyance forfeited, and title to the property shall automatically revert to Sumner County, Tennessee, together with all improvements located thereon. The restrictions contained herein shall be specifically enforceable. Grantor may pursue any remedy available at law or in equity, including specific performance, injunctive relief, declaratory judgment, quiet title, reentry, or any other remedy authorized under Tennessee law. Failure of grantor to enforce any restriction shall not constitute a waiver of future enforcement. And then here's where they sign it over if we agree on it.
Any more comments, questions? Gotta ask Mr. Sittler one more question. Just, I want everybody to understand that this stops here. When it goes to the schools, will it come back to the commission again, or how is that gonna work?
The commission vote should suffice, but it is contingent upon
The school sign it.
And it does call that out, so, and we're asking
I
them
just
to
want
take
everybody to
action.
understand that.
Yes, and we're asking them to take action in this resolution so that it hopefully automatically gets signed by them, but we'll see. That's all I got, guys. I mean,
We have a motion on the
entertain
floor.
questions.
We have a second. Is there any more comments, questions pertaining to this? Y'all ready to vote?
And the motion is to sit it on there as the first agenda item under general operations.
It'll be the only item under.
Well, there may be another in a minute, but.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Wait a minute. We ain't done yet.
Hold your horses.
The second item is, now, you said you wanted to do the lease agreement.
I do, since that's the next item up for bid. So the same applies, the reasoning, I'm sorry, are you officially going into that? Can I just start?
Go ahead.
Okay. The same,
Well, wait a minute, we need to get a motion in a second on the floor.
Motion to review.
All right. We have a
well,
motion.
I'll make it cleaner. I'll make a motion to approve the lease agreement as item number 2 on the agenda in case there's any problems with the commission passing the quitclaim deed. I want this on there for a backup that we can review that at the full commission. So this version of the lease agreement, and same thing, we'll do questions if anyone wants to see what changed about
Is
that
there a second?
as the second item.
Is there a second?
Second by Mr. Knight.
You second, Mr. Jones?
I did,
I'm
I'm sorry, I
sorry.
was very quiet about
You
it.
were, second by Mr. Jones. Now you go right ahead.
So this is the same thing as the town hall with additions to it, to have the law that was questioned back up and firm up any concerns that were put forward. And if it be the will of the body, I will read it again. But if you guys have already read it, and you're okay with that? No, hey, I'd rather not, but I want to be open and transparent. If everybody's read it and you agree that it's in the heart of what the mayor has said, and it's only been altered where the concerns were brought up with the state laws and we firmed it up with the state laws, then I'm okay passing it through without reading it, because I've already read it.
So, just point of clarification, Mr. Chairman, the changes in the lease are coincident with the changes in the deed?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'm good with that.
I'm fine reading it, but
No.
No.
It's longer.
it's available for the public and it's a point of record. Just, I ask that these all be made a part of tonight's meeting so the public can read through them if they want to, because I know I blew through the first one really fast and the second one, and if they want to read through it afterwards and the rest of the commissioners can read through this lease agreement for the upcoming commission meeting, then I would like them to be part of the public record, so that's my motion.
And Mr. Jones seconded, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Well,
Comments or questions?
actually, it's my motion first to make it part of the public record, all these documents that we're looking at.
Okay, I'll say,
It's not
Post it all on the website.
okay.
They'll be attached to the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
Comments or questions?
taken care of, so.
Anybody?
Well, this lease,
The motion was to discuss originally, so what are we doing now?
Well, get it. No, he's wanting to add this list to the item number 2 on the agenda for full commission, correct?
That's the motion now.
Well, we improperly, I overrode her motion by
He
making a
interrupted.
motion. You could rephrase your motion, and I'll second it
Wait a
if you
minute
want
now,
to.
wait, let's don't get out of.
She made a motion to discuss. I said I'll clean it up by making it, actually
And then-
bring it to the commission, which opens up for
Then Mr.
discussion.
Klein tried to second it, and you'd said that she'd already seconded it, so what are we doing?
Could you just retract your motion? Makes it clear.
She didn't get a second.
I didn't get a second, so I got
Did Ms. Klein, did you second
overtalked.
Mr. Jones's motion?
No, I didn't, because
Okay.
Mary Janung did.
Correct.
So in essence, she took back her motion, and I made.
All
the motion.
motions are withdrawn, what can we do now?
Yes.
My motion is to put forward the lease as the second item on general operations for the commission, full commission meeting Monday night as option number 2. But we want to vote on option number 1 first and see how that goes before this one comes up. So this will
You
be,
want it on the agenda.
it's on the commission agenda, number 2,
All right.
I'll second that motion.
specifically number
Now,
2.
who seconded that? Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Comments, questions?
well,
Go ahead.
if I'm understanding, the lease would still keep the government in control. It's, I heard a citizen, that was one of her concerns.
There's
The
some
lease,
fail safes there.
Is it still failed? Because that's my concern. I
There's some
mean,
fail safes there.
the government's demonstrated for 4 years that I've been here that they can't do a damn thing right with this. And that's my concern. So I don't know that I want the lease option on there because I've been told, I have not had one person tell me they want a lease. Everybody that I've spoken to, email, phone call, et cetera, has said we want the quitclaim deed. So I don't understand, why would we put this option up for commission? And I understand you put a lot of work into it. I appreciate that, but
Totally fair question, if I could explain. So I know the mayor put in his proposal the lease thing, but I had heard rumors of a talk of a quitclaim, and it just seemed like a cleaner version to do what the mayor wanted, because again, the heart of what the mayor said in his proposal was in the quitclaim, but it's also in the lease. But I saw a lot more hurdles in the lease option because with the government involved, there's potential for architect fees to be incurred on that because the government has to have anything over $50,000, hire an architect. You have to have bids on anything over $25,000. Everything just moves a lot slower. And I thought the heart of what he's trying to do is put protections in there for the county. And as long as there's a reverter clause in there, which there is in both, there's protections for the county. The benefit of the quitclaim deed is that it helps the Friends of group do the job faster without having to go through the government red tape and everything. And the protections are there for the government as well. So I hoped to bypass the lease version. Some people just can't get past the idea of the quitclaim deed version, but I think, the mayor explained it well when he said that the county's not in the business to do this, to protect that property. And it would be a lot cleaner for a group that's focused on that kind of work to do it, as long as the protections for the county are in place. And so, direct operation, county operation of a house and neighborhood park is neither the county's core function nor the most faithful way to honor a gift that calls for ongoing care, promotion, and preservation. This gets rid of the obligations of the taxpayers being on the hook for nickel and dime stuff in the future and everything else. It solved both things. But I'm putting the lease there for a just in case backup, which I hope we never have to use. If we pass the quitclaim deed at the full commission, we can say no more need for the number 2.
So y'all ready to vote?
well, I'll just finish up by saying I appreciate the mayor, putting his stuff forward too, and I appreciate what you just said. But I will not be voting for the lease. The people have spoken. I'm sticking with what they want, and that's the quitclaim. So I'll be voting no on the lease option, not because I don't appreciate the effort. I recognize the effort there, but I also recognize the room right here and the emails and phone calls that said quitclaim, and they've not even wanted a consideration of a lease.
Can I?
I totally agree with Don, the fact that the people want the quitclaim deed. However, I've served for 4 years and I know how 24 people think on the commission. And it doesn't always go the way the people want. And so it is a way to protect that. It's kind of like a backup plan. Not that I like it, but I think the quitclaim deed, as I say, is the cleanest one. It will save the money, the money that's in there for the renovations and all that. There won't be as much red tape, and they'll have more money to do more things with that property. And with a lease, they're gonna have to go through the governmental bureaucrat with bids and things like that, and that means that the person that has been doing the restoration may not even be chosen as the actual contractor. But again, there are 24 commissioners and they don't all think alike. So that's the only reason I brought that up.
Mr. Jones?
Thank you for saying that. If we didn't have the sunshine law over us like the state and Congress doesn't have, I could ask you to go to lunch and talk about this, but I'm gonna ask you tonight right here at the table, like I would if I could in private. Please reconsider that, because every citizen I've talked to recognizes the quick claim deed, just like you said, they want that because it's the cleaner, easier, fastest way to do it. But they also have told me that if that's not an option, they want this still to move forward. And moving forward with a new whole commission, the lease version may be the only way to get it done in the long run. I'm hoping we can get it done with the quick claim deed on Monday night, but I think everybody agrees that they don't want the ball to stop rolling. And the lease may be the only option after that. I hope this is unanimous quick claim deed at the commission floor. The lease is just back for backup only, and I don't intend to vote for it unless it's the only way to keep the ball rolling.
Well, I will say this. If you're a county commissioner and you haven't shown up tonight, I better not hear you complain on the 17th that you didn't have enough information. We've had a town hall, we've had joint ad hoc committees, we've had meetings out the wazoo for 4 years.
Amen.
So if, to your point, if it's gonna move the ball, because I don't wanna be a stumbling block, if it's gonna move the ball to the 17th, I will, but I'm gonna tell you, and you know it, anything the government does, anything the government has done or not done with this has made it worse.
I'm biting my lip and
I
sending it.
get it, and my patience level with this thing is getting real, so that's fine, but if you're a commissioner and you're playing this back, I better not even hear any lip that, well, I didn't have enough information, because you just read through a bunch of stuff, and there's been a bunch of meetings on it, so.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I totally agree with Don, because we have some people that haven't shown up and do have always a lot of bloviation about things. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen, because this is actually something that these people have asked and asked. And it is way before me. It's been going on for almost 10 years. And finally, we have come to almost, the light is there right at the edge of the tunnel. And like Don said, but I am so concerned that if they don't vote, if the vote for the quitclaim deed on Monday night does not go through, we will, and there's not a backup, that we will be just flat dead in the water. And that is my biggest concern.
Yeah.
I was in this done, but there's enough blame to go around for all 24 of us.
I got, yeah.
So, y'all ready to vote?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that'll be item number 2. All right. Next on the agenda.
So this is probably the least read document. All this is a means to gift the money, which again was the mayor's idea, to give them the money with the restrictions, to do everything that the lease and the quitclaim deed said that they could do, and not do the things that they could not do. So if I need to read it, I will. If y'all have read it, that's awesome. But the protections are in there. It's just we couldn't convey the money without this document. So I didn't want to talk about conveying the money and then give this edict to the law director to go back and draft a document, and then we talk about it again next month to approve it. I just went ahead and made the document, so it's there. Hopefully it's not amended. It's just an easy, clean way to get it, and it keeps the restrictions in there, but it's a way in the state statutes that allow us to do it. So if y'all are okay with that, I'm okay not reading it, but if you want me to read it, it's there, and it's a matter of public record for any commissioner who wants to read it, or the public wants to read it. There's protection, restrictions, accounting and reporting, reversion clause, and the notice to the Attorney General, and talks about the nonprofit status and the relationships to the lease or deed, because it works for both, general provisions and signatures.
Motion to approve the document.
So a motion and a second.
Can I get in the queue?
Sure.
You're rock solid with it, right?
No,
You're not.
I would prefer that finance have looked at it to make sure we don't come up with any audit issues, but I'm bad at math, that's why I went to law school. So, I would feel a lot more comfortable unless the mayor is okay with it, but
I think we can review it between now and commission.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
so if you want to vote pending review, then I can get it
You
to
want to add that into your motion pending review?
Sure, pending review by the legal and finance departments.
Can I get a copy?
Yeah.
Got ready to vote?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion?
We got one more item.
Let me get this other one out of the way first.
Okay, all
Wait a
right.
second, where are we at?
You talking about the restricted fund agreement?
No, that was that.
That was
Oh,
that.
just the recognition of non-agenda items.
Well, you got one more though. Let me
You
talk
got,
first.
go ahead, Mr. Klein.
Okay, I would like to make a
I got
motion
one.
that until the one or the other document is well, actually, two of the documents, the finances and either the deed or the lease are executed, that we suspend architectural work on it so we don't spend any more money until we know what we're doing.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
Hang on, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Mr. Klein, second by Commissioner Jones. Mayor, did you have something you want to say?
We've got a signed contract with the architectural firm,
Yeah.
I have a question on that.
so I can call them and ask them to suspend work. I think they've got a meeting out there tomorrow.
I think it's a prudent thing to do at this point, because we don't know, if we sign a deed over to the Friends of, now they're in charge of the architecture or the renovation or the preservation.
Breach of contract.
I read the document and it said something about either party can terminate the document in
7 days.
7 days, I think. And
With the notice.
with the notice. And then we would have to pay them for all the work they did. And that's pretty typical of a contract with an architect, in my experience.
Now, is that money gonna come out of the Latimer, the Brown House Fund?
I don't know. I would think.
I would assume it
I would think it
probably
would probably would, yeah.
So that's gonna cut that down.
Okay,
Mr. Jones?
Can I ask the mayor a question?
Sure.
Go.
So the contract's for up to $40,000, right? If it's able to be suspended within a 7-day notice from either party, is that accurate, first of all? I believe it
That
is.
I don't know. I don't remember the exact date. I don't remember the exact date that I signed.
Okay.
Mhm.
I believe it is, but the way it's been going, I've been tracking the expenditures coming out of finance, and it's their billable hours, and then they get a check cut, and then their billable hours, and they get a check cut. And there's been like steps along the way.
Mr.
Can we
Jones,
pause
don't-
them?
Mr. Jones, don't let me interrupt you, but I think he can answer that question. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna give an option actually here.
Well, I was gonna ask if and you remember answer this, so if there's a step that we haven't reached yet, can we stop it, push pause button on that until we hear something from this, to not incur any more?
I mean,
Or are we,
I could pause it and not cancel the contract, and we could push it down the road, but I don't find that very smart to do.
is the contract for the full 40,000, or is it up to 40,000? I believe it's up to
The
40,000.
CA, it's 40,000.
It's not up to
Phase
40,000?
1 and phase 2 are up to that amount.
Up to.
That
phase
was
1 and phase
CA,
2.
which was phase 3, that is 40,000.
And is the contract for all three?
Correct. But here's my recommendation. It's got nothing in government is set in stone. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., they're doing their as-built drawings. I recommend that they go out and do them, regardless of what happens. What I would recommend that you guys do here is what we did with the courthouse crosswalk, and approve, pending whatever happens, we would cancel that contract depending on what happens, obviously. But then give them the authority to use those plans that we will have ownership of when they're done.
How much was that phase? Cause I saw that, but I can't remember the amount.
$5,000 to do that as-built.
So we would have documents that we could use regardless of how this turns out for $5,000 more dollars. And are we correct
And then
in
you
the
don't slow
question,
things down.
in the question we asked about either party can terminate the
I'd have to
contract?
double check on the termination clause in it, but probably yes.
Okay, probably yes.
There's termination clauses in it. We just have to follow them to the T.
Okay.
Everyone's different.
Mr. Klein?
I agree with Mr. Shamrock. Those as-bills are essential.
Yeah, they're be important
And,
regardless.
I'm sorry, I thought they were already done.
They're going out at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I think, then I'd like to amend my motion that after the as-bills are done, we suspend any further architecture.
With the understanding that they can use those bills, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the Friends of are gonna, wanna do with the architecture. I don't wanna spend, at this point, their money, so.
But if this goes the way that we want it to go at the commission meeting, getting them detached from the project with drawings in hand would be essential to getting as much money towards the project as we can without having to spend money that only governments have to spend, that regular private sector doesn't have to spend. So I like where you're going with that. I did see in the contract that also, if any groups of people, we had several step forward and say they would help do electrical work or carpentry work or stuff like that, volunteers from the community come forward, that in the contract, it says that those services would be evaluated for what they're worth and that money would be counted towards the total project, and the architect could charge their 20% fee based on that total amount.
Still have to.
I did not like that at all, because that's another way to ramp up.
I mean, you're still getting a lower construction cost. You're getting a higher architect cost, but you're going to get a lower construction cost. They still have to design.
But we were going to get a free construction cost, and no, design's fine. We're going to get those as-built plans and stuff like that. But I just did not like the fact that if it's $200,000 valued services given, then they get to mark up the $500,000 project to $700,000, and they get to charge their end fees based on 20% of that $700,000 instead of the $500,000. I did not like that part of the contract. So
Mr. Settler, do you
another
have
reason to
some-
stop things.
If I can ask a question, please. They're gonna do the as-bills, right?
Correct.
That's where we're moving. So once they do the as-bills, they can be basically put on hold until the next Gen Ops meeting? And then we know exactly what we're dealing with the termination?
Correct.
I mean, that would be my suggestion, because we really don't know what we're doing yet, or
Yeah.
what the terms of that contract are for termination. But from a legal standpoint, that's my biggest concern.
But the pause stops the flow of
Yeah.
cutting checks for
Yeah,
new
they-
projects after the as-built are done.
Typically, they would just stop working on it and not accrue any more fees. The thing is, they're a good architecture firm. Yeah, I've spent time talking to them, before they ever gave us a proposal. And they've done a lot of this, and we are gonna probably need some structural help and we don't wanna, the Friends of should make that decision.
I like the motion. I like your suggestion about the as-built. I got one more question about the plans. What is this?
That is the updated concept that they came up for the mayor.
So this structure here, what is this?
Looks like a pavilion.
That looks like a $500,000 pavilion with
Where'd you get that,
restrooms.
Mr. John?
I'm sorry?
Where did you get that? Because I haven't seen that before tonight.
I have to dig through the email where I got it, but this, I think this was in the mayor's proposal, was it not?
No.
And wasn't part of the proposal. That was a mock-up that they did for me, but that's as far as it went.
So is this,
So that is not what I proposed. I just proposed what you read.
okay, so the inclusion of this is not in any kind of contract or anything, because there was no definitive language describing what the contract would give us. It was all about services
I
and
don't
things
think we
like
need to be
that.
getting off from that.
I want to make sure we're not getting off into this.
Well,
And
I
if
don't
it's
think we are.
clean,
We're
if-
not.
okay, if it's clean, we're good.
We're suspending any action, so.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's not in the present contract. If it's just kind of being talked about ideas, then
Okay.
it's totally fine. I just had to ask here because I knew you'd know.
All right, what's the motion on the table?
The motion is to finish up with the as-built and then suspend any more action until the, either one or the other, the lease or the quick claim and the
Upon their
expenditure.
passage, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, upon their passage, yes.
And the means to transfer the restricted,
Yes,
uh,
yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
the money transfer.
The only thing I'd like to add is that when we go into canceling the contract or those negotiations, that those go through the legal department.
absolutely.
But
Sounds
the,
like where it should be.
can I ask a question? But the request to ask that tonight is, I'll wait.
Go
I
ahead.
respect you.
Yeah, no, we'll finish up the project, but when it comes time to terminate,
Yeah,
that it goes through legal.
sure, yeah.
Do we need to make that part of the motion or?
You don't have to.
Okay.
It would anyway.
Yeah,
The way I
I
see
just
it.
want to make sure everybody understands.
Yeah, no,
That
we
the
need
mayor's
to.
not going to negotiate the termination of the contract that legally is.
Yeah, last thing we want to do is get in trouble.
No, yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Okay,
Ready to vote?
I'm ready to go.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Next item on the agenda is recognition of the public non-agenda items. Anybody wish to speak on any non-agenda items? I know you do, come on.
I'm gonna make this quick. You know, I'm cautiously optimistic. I heard some good things going on tonight. And I'm gonna just hold it at that, except for one point. You know, Alexander Graham Bell, Thomas Edison, Steve Jobs, if government were running that, we'd be sending smoke signals. Leave it at that.
I know smoke signals some days.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Aye.
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 Three things. I'll make sure I have the exact right.
Yes.
And I will get those on the website. I want to make sure that I have the.
Thank you, everybody that came. Appreciate it.
I'll email them to you as a digital form. Would that be quicker than paper?